Oh, it is time for the Blues to Do TV podcast. It's time for rose-colored glasses. I don't know about your week, but I had a rough week, all right? I'll just be straight up honest with you, and that's why I brought a couple of my friends in this week. And
I have rose-colored glasses.
You got rose-colored glasses?
Yes.
Sometimes you just got to put them on
Yes.
to get through and blues helps, of course, the music. And we brought the blues man, Seattle blues man himself, Johnnie Moore. We're going to tell you his story and introduce him shortly. I got to give you a couple of things here in my script. I got a show plan. I'm sticking to the show plan. Welcome to Blues to Do TV. My name is Marlee Walker. That's Bunny Brown, a weekly live streaming podcast. We are broadcasting on Duwamish land in Seattle's Georgetown area from the Lab, L-A-B. That's the little auditorium in the back at 1010 South Bailey at the Seattle Drum School of Music. And you can join us. It's a live show. We recognize and thank the Duwamish tribe for taking care of this land for centuries, for generations. We're working on a rent party. I think that'd be a fun way to resolve some of that tension. All right, watch or listen anytime at youtube.com/blues2do or search Blues to Do or the Seattle Drum School on YouTube, and you can find the show anytime you want to listen and watch. Our live guest today is Seattle blues man Johnnie Moore, and we are sponsored, by the way, by Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce, and we'll talk about him a little bit more later. He was our guest last week.
Oh, yes.
And that QR.
Yes,
I love that.
yes.
Oh, yeah. Look out. That's the
Wonderful,
voice of the American
wonderful
Blues
time.
Network over there with this. Scan that QR code, go to the Mitch's Foods website, mitchesfoods.com, and you can pick up some of that sauce. I was enjoying that this week on some chicken pasta. Me. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or any of those other places and devices. Our new website is here. It's not quite done. It's a work in progress, but it is blues2do.org. Check it out. We'll get some more content up there and get some of that old content, some of the archives of Blues to Do Monthly, Blues to Do TV, past radio shows that I did on KPLU and KCMU and KMTT. I have been around.
Yes, and all of this is available now, like on Instagram, Facebook. You got TikTok, you know, YouTube, everywhere.
Oh, don't talk to me about all that. That's work to me. That is
but
all
that's
work.
That's where we are.
Okay, well, anyway, the interviews that we've done and podcasts, Bunny and I both have such history. I got to get some of it put together and digitized. I'm working on that. And bathroom reviews are part of that. I didn't quite get it together this week, but I'll be ready for my bathroom reviews next week. The Vermilion Cafe, a great gallery up on Capitol Hill. I got their bathroom in there. It passed.
Cool.
And it passed with flying colors, yes. And then the one in Belfair, the Bentbine Brewery. That was a lot of fun.
We went there.
It was 420 with Bonnie McCoy. We had such a good time. I got to sing. And the bathroom was delightful. The signage, there's probably about 15 images, so I'm going to put that on next week's.
Okay.
It's a lot of images, but funny signs, so we'll look forward to that. Okay. So thank you for being here with me. Blues prevention is part of what we do once a week. Last week, we kind of threw a bunch at you, so I thought I'd try and do it in parts. How to get out of your own way. I kind of need this advice on a regular basis myself. So I just going to put it up there again. It's a little fuzzy, it takes a little repetition sometimes to get these. So we're just going to do the first three, or we could start from the bottom.
No,
let's start
let's go from the top
to
the bottom.
Last time. Okay, don't blame others. That's important. I got to repeat that. Don't blame others. These are little pieces of wisdom, Johnnie. I'm sure you have so many. We're going to get you to share some too. Stay focused. Had a hard time with that this week, but, Anyway, be informed is the third one. So those three, we're just going to digest three at a time. How to get out of your own way. Those are just profound advice. I've collected a few things that ended up on my fridge. So basically, it's just me sharing my fridge wisdom with you. Blues prevention. We're going to do that once a week. Okay. Take the L, as my friend Jayza Duhan said in her song. Take the lesson, right? No,
Yes.
take the loss. Take the loss
take the lesson.
and learn the lesson. I mean, learn a lesson from what you
Take
experience
the loss,
if you're feeling
and you'll
it.
learn the lesson.
There you go. There you
But
go.
yeah,
I'm
that
still
hurts
learning.
sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow.
Okay, Bunny, give us a reason of the week for the blues. I know you got something up your sleeve this week. What is getting under your skin?
My reason for the blues, and I like focusing on what's happening with women, and with this Arizona their Supreme Court standing on a law from the 1800s about a woman's productive body, our choice. A woman, I mean, it's ridiculous. And it led me to research one of the Olympic heroes, Allison Felix.
A shero.
Yeah, a shero.
There you go.
Now, Allison Felix has broken all Olympic records. She has medals like in the 200 to 400 singly relays over and over and over and over again. And Nike had, we're going to do a big deal like a Michael Jordan deal with her.
Big money.
Bam, but she gets pregnant.
Oops.
The money dropped 70%.
They did not. Really?
Because she got pregnant. But the thing about it, they made a statement to her saying, "Stay where you are, keep running, know who you are." And she took that after having this kid because she was still training 6 months into her pregnancy, trying to hide it from the powers that be.
She knew they were going to. Wow.
You understand? It's not nothing women should need to do, and that's giving us the blues, man. It's beginning to come to a point where the state, singularly, or the government determines what you do with your body, when you can have a baby, how many babies you can have.
Bodily
it's
autonomy
happening in China now.
Right. Well, and bodily autonomy is an issue for elder people to determine what they want.
Exactly.
It's everybody's issue. It's not just
and
about
if
pregnant
it goes any farther, exactly what you're saying, then they're going to take it to, because right now they're determining we will have like 80,000 doctors less than we will need for the generation, the boom babies, which we are part of. When we become elderly,
we need more doctors and we don't have them.
They're not going to have that.
Ruh-roh.
So you're waiting for a doctor's appointment right now, and you call maybe a month later, and it's going down to the pediatrics, to heart doctors, to everything else. And but what they're doing with women, because you decide to have a baby, is just ridiculous, and it's giving women the blues.
So what can we do about it? Give us the to-do in this equation, because I always wanted to do.
What we do, what they're doing now, you have many women organizations, including the Vice President of the United States.
Amen.
And
a woman.
Yes, and they're fighting it in each and every court, to overturn this. But as it stands, you look at it from the point of this law was done in 1863.
Right. Downtown Seattle was still horses and mud.
Yeah, but you know what? This is something I love about Seattle. We fight for women's rights. We fight for gay rights. We fight for personal space.
We stand up for those. Yep.
We stand up. And even though there's a differentiation in race here, when it matters, we stand up for each other.
Right on.
You understand?
Yeah, some of the most moving moments for me in my life was in 2003, marching against the war. And I went out by myself that day. For some reason, I didn't have a companion, but I was amongst people, and I just felt like, wow. The hair still stands up on my hand.
Yes.
Because I was
and not to put a damper,
exercising
but
my
Canton,
freedom of
Ohio, at the point, police do not understand when a black man says, "I cannot breathe."
Oh, you're bringing up
It's
another
happened
reason
again,
of the week for the blues.
So
I know.
But we stand together in Seattle, and I love it. That's why they call us the Emerald City.
Okay, then. All right. Well, we stand together on this one, and please keep bringing those reason of the week for the blues, or reviews
sweetie.
of bathrooms, or music reviews, whatever you do.
And we're
going
to start a laughter of the week.
I tell you what.
Well,
Well, Johnny and you and I are going to tell some stories, and I know there's going to be some laughter. Johnnie Moore, our guest, is actually originally from Arkansas, but there's a story behind that. He moved to Oakland well, he really lived in Oakland. He was raised in Oakland and Tulare in California, but actually was born in Arkansas. So we're going to get the blues story of Johnnie Moore. Now, this is not the Johnnie Moore from the Three Blazers that you might have heard of that played with Charles Brown, and there's some other story there. This is Seattle blues man Johnnie Moore, and that's how he likes to be introduced. There's no shyness about associating himself with the blues. Now, some people say, well, I play the blues, but I'm really more this or more that, or they don't want to be identified as a blues band. He owns it, and I really appreciate that about you. And you also know how to sing. You get up and sing with the best players. And there is a QR code on that poster. You can hear his music while we're talking, or later if you want to do that. Johnnie Moore can sing. He's got that YouTube channel and a song. What's the name of that song?
Can't
lose these blues. And you got the best players in town.
Can't lose these blues.
And you smile when you say that, so that must have been a fun time. Tell me about recording that song with John Stoudemire, Steve Black. Who else is in that band? Just some great players. Lonnie Williams.
Lonnie Williams, Steve Black, Greg Fields.
On drums.
Curtis
Seals, who was here, keyboard player,
Right.
Best players in town.
Yeah. Seattle is blessed and been blessed for years with some of the greatest musicians this world has ever seen.
That's true.
And most of them will not get heard of outside of Seattle.
Right.
And
Or
it's a
paid.
shame.
Yeah, it is.
But we have some good ones here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll
And
have to
speaking
work
of
on-
the blues, what you just described, that is the blues. The blues is all around us.
Yes.
And I'm conscious of what's going on around me, and you can't help but have the blues.
Blues, baby.
And so when I sing them, is the only time that I don't have them.
Right.
So that's why I smile when I sing the blues, because I know the blues.
Yes. Yes.
You just described about the ladies,
And when
the
you
blues.
when you sing, Johnny, people who are feeling blue, they get to let that feeling out.
Let it go.
You understand what I'm saying?
For a minute.
So blues is like a therapy, man.
Yes, it is.
You know,
Right.
it goes so deep. People
Yes.
who don't know it won't understand it, and that's why we try to keep teaching it, because we want these youngsters to understand the blues.
It really is the definition of freedom in America, because you get freedom of expression in the blues, and you're talking about your emotions, how you feel.
that.
Nobody can argue with that. Nobody can discuss it and say, well, you can't feel. No, I can feel whatever I do. I can't argue about my feelings.
If you're on this planet Earth, you have experienced the blues.
Right, right.
We might speak different languages, be in different parts of the world, but it's something that we all can relate to, is the blues. Lost your girlfriend, lost your boyfriend, lost a child.
Broke, all that.
It goes on and on. It's the blues.
Yeah, death.
It's life.
Yeah, you don't have to be poor to have the blues. That's one of the
And
perceptions.
see, that's the connection between country, western,
There we go.
and blues. You know, it's the same thing. It's about
Yes.
feeling, expressing how you feel.
You're just very honest.
You
Music.
know,
yeah.
and most of the time it wasn't on a high beat because you were not feeling good. That was what made it what it was.
Right, right.
Yes, of course.
Well, Johnny, you like the country. You like country music. Talk about that. Your roots
Country
include
music,
some
well,
country.
I can't help but like it because country music, how I relate it to the blues, it tells a story. It tells what's going on in your life, what has been going on, what is going on, and that's the blues. You know, your favorite cow died.
I knew we were going to laugh. That's the first.
It's true though.
It's the blues.
True that.
Well, and you said something before we got started. You said the dead don't struggle. So struggle is just part of life. Dead don't struggle. Once you die.
The dead doesn't struggle.
I never heard that. That's a good line.
Yeah.
You got other lines too.
You know,
Blues
I
wisdom.
realize that everything that we've been through before has only prepared us for this moment. So there is really no bad. It's just how you perceive it.
Right, right.
Because what you did yesterday prepared you for what's going on today.
Exactly.
You know, And so, like I said, and I wasn't joking when I said, when I sing the blues is the only time that I'm not having the blues.
Right. The actual
Good one.
sentiment.
That part.
Okay, now talk to us about your grandmother. She was a guitarist, and that's who you went back in Arkansas to be born. Your grandma was around when you were born, but she influenced you still as a guitarist. Did you get around?
Yes, I wish I had paid more attention because that is my favorite instrument that I can't play, but I'm trying still.
Cool.
But she played acoustic guitar.
Nice. What did she play? Like gospel music or
really?
blues, straight up blues? What'd she play?
No, they sung, I guess you would call it, they call it now Delta blues.
Yes.
Right.
That blues that went through the South.
Through the Chitlin circuit.
Yeah, the Chitlin circuit, exactly. And it's the patting the feet and
Yes.
strumming.
Yes.
But yeah, she played the blues and tried to sing the blues.
What songs do you remember?
Because they really had the
Oh
blues.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, now, do you remember any songs or any particular melodies that she would pound out on the piano? Or I mean, on
Don't get around much anymore.
the right?
Of course, they Mr. Saturday Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her favorite. Don't get around much anymore. Yeah.
Well, now, you also still run a construction business, 20 plus years in Seattle.
I run a painting business.
Okay.
I'm a painting contractor by trade. And something to do, something to make a living.
Right.
Yeah. I've grown accustomed to eating. So
And it's known in town as
Exactly.
Pete's Hard
Pete's Handyman
Handyman.
Service.
I'm sorry, I'm not reading my handwriting. So if people want to keep track of you and they start calling you Pete, then that's what we know is your construction side of your,
Yes,
of your
Like
life.
Pete's Construction.
Pete's.
P-E-T-E, yes.
P-E-T-E.
Yes.
That's his nickname.
That's my nickname that my grandparents gave me.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, when I get to high school and the kids start, "Hi, Johnny," I had to look around for a minute before I realized they were
Talking
talking to me. Because everybody that I was raised with called me Pete.
Okay, we're
Oh,
going
boy.
to take a quick break, come back and get a James Brown story out of Johnnie Moore, and also talk about his music and more about the future gigs coming up. You were at a Joe Brazil tribute. I want to hear about that as well. And you both share a story about consoles, so we're going to talk consoles here shortly. Let me get a brief break in and talk about our sponsor, Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. Go ahead, hit it.
Buffalo sauce.
You got it.
You remember the song?
Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. Well, the sauce boss says you've tried the rest. Well, you'll be back, 'cause this one's best. Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce.
You'll be back for the rest. I got to take these red glasses down. With just the right heat and just the right bite, this rich and creamy sauce made with all real butter tastes great on everything except dessert. But that is still an argument we're working on. Handmade in small batches, it's made like a gourmet French sauce. It tastes great on any chicken dish, including wings. It's also great on any seafood, roasted vegetables, and many other foods, including avocados.
But I must say, Marlee, Mitch was here last week, and he gave me a taste. And I put it on salad. I put it on a steak. You know, it was very, very good. Very, very good.
Yeah.
And I started to put it on some peach cobbler, but I thought about the commercial, so I did not, as of yet.
It is available locally at QFC, Metropolitan Markets, Hagen Markets. I've been saying that wrong. I don't know why nobody told me. And most meat shops, fine meat shops in the Puget Sound area. Order directly from Chef Mitch. There's the QR code, the Sauce Boss at mitchesfoods.com. We sure appreciate his support, keeping us going here on Sundays about 1 o'clock or whenever you tune in. It's awesome to get your support as well. If you'd like to play here at the Seattle Drum School, there's a jam session. Darren Lucas hosts a jam session for the kids. You can get them involved and learn how to jam. You also can play here. You could put a CD release party together here, a private party of any kind, really. We do a lot of different shows, live concerts, new releases, baby showers, showcases. And the Mojam Youth Showcase happens on the second Sunday of the month at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So all kinds of lessons happen here at the Seattle Drum School. All right, our guest, Johnnie Moore. We're going to get some more story. You were at the Joe Brazil tribute. Now, he passed away quite a few years ago, but they still send love and uplift his name.
Yes, they had a beautiful gathering last night at the Esquire for Joe Brazil.
Right on.
Beautiful. It was beautiful.
I bet. There's a lot of love for him, yeah. All right, so tell me about your consoles, both of you.
But wait, wasn't he the professor who didn't get his tenure?
Joe Brazil?
Joe Brazil played sax.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he went to the University of Washington.
Yes.
He started a school here for young musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was hell of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about him at the time
Me too.
that he was living.
Yes.
Me too.
You know, but he was a hell of a guy.
So if you have a suggestion for who we should have on the show before they pass away, I would love that. I would have loved to have had Joe Brazil on my show. So, just send him my way right here at the Seattle Drum School. But, talk to me about radio consoles. You both grew up with a radio console or where you dropped the needle on the turntable. I had one of those, but I was so little.
In the South, you call it your daddy's stereo.
Daddy's stereo.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the big tubes that had the light up?
Oh, yeah.
And then once you cut the radio off, they had to dim before. Oh, yes, I remember.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And like I said, my dad, with my dad being a disc jockey, he had his music.
Oh, yeah.
But here, the little 45s you guys can play with. If it gets scratched, he didn't care.
Right.
But mine would get scratched, and I was like, I'm gonna go use my dad's. And but the console looked like a coffin. It was long and wooden with 4 legs, and you raise up this part. And you have the turntable and maybe the speaker, and if you had a real top of the line, it probably had the radio in it too, Yes, but you didn't raise the top of the console unless Daddy was home.
Weighed 200 pounds.
Exactly.
Well, tell me about your console, Johnny. What kind of music? Well, I mean, you listen to blues on that, right?
Yeah, well, the first thing I heard was blues. By being in the South and country and western, they allowed the blacks at that time to have a blues hour on Saturday evening and Sunday evening. And all during the week, it was country and western.
You're talking about AM radio?
Radio. That's all it was.
We didn't have FM back then.
AM radio. And I still have a passion for country and western, not as much as I do what I call my blues, but both of them tells a true story of life and what's going on, and that just captivates me. Yeah, love it.
True that.
And you are like the catalog of Bobby Blue Bland. You can sing any Bobby Blue Bland pretty much that anybody requests.
Bobby is my favorite blues singer, although I enjoy and appreciate several more. But Bobby, it's something about his music that fits me to a T. I do a lot of his songs, but I can really appreciate him now, even after he's gone, because I do his songs, but I do me.
Sure.
Through his songs.
Through his songs. I don't try no longer to sound like Bobby Blue Bland. I just do his music, but I do Johnnie.
You bet.
How I feel it, how I see it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I love it.
It comes through.
Yes.
We see you at any jam around town. You're going to sit in, and they're going to call up Seattle Blues Man, Johnnie
Yes,
Moore. And I always
yes,
appreciate
yes,
that. But you also have your
yes.
own gigs. Tell me about what's coming up. You got a birthday party, 80 years old in June.
June the 15th.
Carrying it well. You look so good for 80. June 15th, we're going to have a party at Rumba Notes in Columbia City. It's a Saturday night, 8 p.m., and you're inviting
I'm inviting everybody in the state of Washington
every blues
that
fan.
loves the blues. I
Nice.
don't care what you play, what kind of blues it is, come.
Please do.
I'll be there.
And you will be
I'll be
welcome.
there. The
and
American,
loved.
the American Blues Network will be there.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Bunny
If you like
Brown.
the blues, show up.
I might even sing one if you let me.
Oh, yeah, and you can.
no, it's
I've
about
heard
you.
you before.
It's about you. I'm sorry. It's your party. Well, now, tell me about it. James Brown story. I know you have a James Brown story.
Well,
She's James Brown's niece. You two got to talk about
I
this.
got to have a James Brown story because you never forget your first love, your first girlfriend or your first boyfriend. But I will never forget James Brown because that was my very first concert.
Wow.
I painted some eyebrow thing over my lips to look older because I wasn't supposed to be in the McKesmo Club in Oakland. And that's where James Brown was at. And his record at the time he had was Please, 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 and Try Me.
Try me.
And him and Etta Jane was on the same show. And the headliner was Jackie Wilson.
Oh, my goodness. That was your first show
Yeah. that
in
was my-
Oakland, of all places. That had to be the hippest.
Oh
Man.
my goodness!
Oh.
So that's and James he was the first one I recognized that wasn't afraid to do him. He didn't try to sound like nobody else. He didn't sound like anyone
Right,
else.
right.
And the world loved it because he did him, and with all the energy in the world. Yeah, all the energy
Drive
in the
those
world.
feet.
So he was an inspiration, and especially to the blacks in my neighborhood that came out of the country, because he had a first time I've seen a mink coat on a black man, and he bought a Learjet.
Yes. I remember when he came to Beaumont, and we had to pick him up at the airport, but we went through this certain little area, and he's standing outside this jet looking at my dad, and my dad shook his head like, come on, boy.
Yeah,
He's like,
but
who you calling boy? But, just memories of him,
But what I'd like for people to really zero in on when they talk about James Brown was the work
Yes.
that he put in
Yes.
to his craft.
Yes.
Energy packed.
Yes. He was a workaholic.
Oh,
So
he
Yes.
rehearsed that band, didn't he?
Yes.
He rehearsed
Yes.
that band.
yes.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, I didn't really think he could sing that well. But you didn't even think about the tone of his voice.
Right.
It just watching all that energy, it was enough to do it.
Oh, but that
Yeah.
was pretty cool when he and Pavarotti did that
Oh yes,
together.
that was
It's
a
a
night.
Man's
That
World.
was that surprised even the family. But I'm going to tell you,
That
my
still
dad
slays
when
me.
he did one song and then he didn't have anything to say and he started calling food candy yams, pork and beans. My dad's like, didn't you have anything else?
I'm hungry.
Did you?
But you know what? He sung Try Me.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
He
yes.
sung that. The rest of it, he did a lot of hollering and repeating himself. But he sung Try Me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
he had
memories.
great
Yeah.
chorus. I mean, you 3 words and you make $1 million because that's really what was the
Yeah,
important part
that's-
was
yeah.
the chorus.
That's what my dad, but my dad also said, as being a disc jockey, he says, you can make as many songs as you want. If I don't play them, the people are not going to hear them. And that was their like a rival, like brothers, But and I just enjoyed, like you say, his energy. He never stopped. He tried to be everywhere for everybody.
Yes.
At
But
all times.
You know what I wish the younger world would be able to see? A person like Jackie Wilson.
Yes.
Everybody talk about, and rightfully so, Michael Jackson, God rest his soul. But he was just a part of a copy of Jackie Wilson.
Yes.
That was a
Yes.
singer.
Good point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really good point.
Musically, like the life of Sam Cooke, Otis Redding.
Oh, yes.
It should be a movie
Oh.
because people really don't know the no.
Yeah.
But it's just fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, the life, the life of blues entertainers.
And when I understood the history of the blues and what all arrived from it, gospel, jazz, all of it
Rock and roll.
came from it.
Yes.
Yep. You really got to know that. Even punk music is just the
You know,
blues
came
speeded up.
from it, and I just embraced it because it embraced me.
Right.
Exactly. Blues is the original music.
Yeah.
It gets to your soul. Well, we have filled up our half an hour. I want to give a quick calendar and then greet you and send you off for your Sunday afternoon. Annie Eastwood and Kimball and the Fugitives are doing a 4 o'clock show at the Sea Monster Lounge today. If you didn't hear about that, tell them you heard about it here. Yeah, I'm going to put this on my website if I get a chance real soon. Look for Anna Popovich at Jazz Alley the 7th and 8th. Where else did I read? There's a women's show, and I think it's at McMiniman's in Tacoma. It has all kinds of great women, Northwest Rhythm and Blues type of show, and they're doing it on May 11th. Look for the Leavenworth Jazz Festival that same weekend, 10, 11, 12. The Rolling Stones, they're going to be here on my birthday. Anybody want to buy me a ticket, just let me know.
MarleeAticket.com.
Lumen Field, and I believe Betty Levette is opening in Oakland, so maybe she'll be opening the Seattle show. I haven't firmed that up, but I've heard rumor. And Betty, she can, oh my. Sunbanks is another blues festival coming up. Grand Coulee on that weekend, 16, 17, 18, 19. Cedric Burnside, that's RL's grandson, I believe. He'll be here in Bend, Oregon on the 20th, in Portland, Oregon on the 21st, at the Tractor Tavern in Ballard on the 23rd, and at the Wild Buffalo in Bellingham on the 24th, and then up in Canada on the 25th. Look for the Folk Live Festival. We had Reese Tanamura on the show, and they are the director of the whole thing. The Seattle Center Northwest Folk Live Festival, 53 years, I believe they've been going on, if I counted right. May 24, 25, 26, 27. I'm going to be serving fry bread if I get my way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That weekend. And Tedeschi Trucks are here in May. Coming up, I'm going to say this month pretty soon. This month, May 27, 28 at the Paramount Theater. So briefly, that is our calendar. We'll get more on there. And again, Johnnie Moore's 80th birthday party at Rumba Notes, June 15th, Saturday night, 8 p.m. That's your birthday. What kind of birthday present would you like?
For people to show up and enjoy the blues.
Show up. Amen.
I tell you, the American Blues Network will be there for you on
Yes,
your birthday.
come on with it.
We're going to make a point of that, right, Marlee? Blues
Support
to do.
Seattle Blues Man. I will be there.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being our guest today. Really inspired me and gave me the love I needed. Get through another day. Thank you, Bunny. All right, we'll get you hooked up with more guests in May. Thank you, Christian Sadler, for being my engineer. KZ, CD, Maggie, Justin, everybody here at the Seattle Drum School. Sure appreciate y'all for being here. And look out, Robert Cray opens for the Doobie Brothers all summer long. Whoa!
One more thing, Marlee.
Yes.
Go Mariners.
Go Mariners! I know they are smoking,
we're number
aren't
one.
they?
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness! They're clearing the.
We're in number one right now.
I
They're
know.
playing right now in Seattle, and traffic was hell. But
That's why you
I left early. I was even here early.
go Mariners.
Go Mariners.
We love it. All right. Thank you very much for being here. And, what is my greeting? I have a greeting. I'm supposed to say this every week, so let me get to... I told you I was going to follow my show plan. All right. There it is. Yep, that's what it is. From the lab at Seattle Drum School, this is the Blues to Do live streaming podcast. My name is Marlee Walker. Thanks again to everybody. As I said already, real music, real people, real stories. Living the blues until next week. Bye for now.